This is the moment where kings become emperors. Thank you to our final patrons, Strawbones, World 4765, Midnight Gem Lord, Sean, and Artgoon. And a very big thank you to our 25 patron, Alex Ice Rose. Now, we're having this breakdown / discussion on how the Emperor's execution was amazing, and I think it was the one main moment that really made me like Kaiser. Please remember to leave your own notes on Kaiser in the comment section down below, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, you hit that little notification bell to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below, use Warriors as $1 exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? Little Pencil here, and I will admit, Kaiser had me mixed after the first game of the Neo Egotist League. He just did. I'm not sure why. I feel like the character just didn't click with me just yet. Sure, was Kaiser Impact very, very cool. Sure, was his dominance very, very cool. Was the fact that he literally came pre-packaged with his whole team built around him. Meanwhile, Isagi had to literally fight for his spot on the field and then had to succeed himself with only an assist and not a goal. All that. Yeah, it was still good, it was still proper, it was still fine. There was nothing necessarily wrong with it, but for some reason, Kaiser as a character didn't just click for me. He just stayed out of that range. Mainly because, as cool as Kaiser Impact was, it just didn't hit. At least not in that game, specifically for me. Sure, was it a shock horror that he could just do that? Yeah, most certainly. And obviously, I'm going to talk about his show afterwards in another video, because I really think his whole execution bow was really, really cool, and it's one of my favorite celebrations in all of Blue Lock. However, with that being the case, it still didn't hit for me. I don't know why. It felt like at that situation against the kind of team he was against, it was not necessarily that impressive. Sure, the Kaiser Impact was in fact very, very cool, very, very fast, but not only was he playing essentially against a bunch of randoms that we had no idea about any of their potency or capability other than they were supposedly a world-class team, but also, it gets very little acknowledgement because the match kind of has to keep going on, and then the moment pretty much immediately gets overshadowed by the next chapter because Noah and Lavahino come in. So there's never necessarily given time to the moment. We have to acknowledge it, it ends a chapter, and then we're like, oh, okay, this is heat, let's see if we can get some discussion on it. And we don't. And it was against a team that was barely even a team. That's how they got hat-tricked on the very next game they played. But with that being the case, what makes the moment of you're blind? I'm not saying the other word, but you know what he said. But what makes the moment you're blind hit so much different for me? I think it's one, the build-up. Notably, the build-up and establishment of Kaiser Impact as a weapon in of itself is one thing that works. That's how the previous moment works so well to set this moment up. We know it's there. We know he can do it. We know it is proper and canon. It is entirely possible that Kaiser is a beast and a monster with this entirely unique ability of his. Once again, it came out of nowhere on its initial appearance, which works as a surprise factor, legitimately the fact that he just flicked his leg and suddenly the ball was in the goal was really, really good, but without that build-up, without that explanation to it, it kind of just felt like, whoa, okay, that was interesting. Oh, the Masters are coming in. Meanwhile, we have the build-up to Kaiser as an individual and his renown even before the goal, or yeah, realistically even before we get to the chapter that has the insane you're blind moment in it. We have Kaiser show up and really swagger, style on a character that we know, and that's Nagi. Nagi is a character who is a little bit popular, I'd say. So popular that he got his own side manga. Literally, other fan favorite characters like Baro, Chigiri, Kunigami could never. Even Shido and Ren could never get their own side manga, but Magi got his own side manga. And what is Kaiser doing to show off the fact that he's a monster, a beast, a demon, against this team of monsters, beasts, and demons with 3 of our well-known characters and some monsters of their own? He comes out of nowhere, comes out the clutch, and immediately shuts down Nagi. Nagi the creative prodigy. Nagi the lazy god of the field. And he just immediately comes out and silences him, executes him, casually, and simply insults all of Nagi's talent and the entire setup. He just bullies it out of nowhere, legitimately bro was unseen, came in and clutched it up. Casually. That's only in chapter 180. He shows off that his level of understanding of the game and his play level itself is what makes him powerful alongside his amazing physicality and his amazing technique. It's to the point where another person of extreme renown, another person of extreme talent, the mad footballer Agi is like, Okay. This time I'll have the chance to analyze you. And what does Kaiser say in response? He tells him to go and babysit better. He doesn't even consider Agi worthy of his time, and he clearly doesn't consider Nagi, the mad prodigy, the previous number 6 in Blue Lock, worth his time, as he casually shuts him down, and in the same moment sets up his own counterattack. Like, legitimately, the insane level of setup there is different. And of course you have all the previous build-up, the hints that Kaiser is this monster, the displays that Kaiser is a monster, his unique abilities, his unique playstyle, all the stuff like that, and that natural perfection that is beyond Isagi's own expectations. And then you top that off with Isagi fully admitting that he just has to sit down and follow Kaiser. There's literally nothing else he can do. If he doesn't find out what Kaiser's got cooking in the back, if he does not figure that out, he has no hope of beating him. So we literally see our main character submit, hold on, and fully submit down to Kaiser, which is something that's crazy. In the previous matches, despite how amazed Isagi was by Kaiser Impact, he didn't submit to Kaiser. Like, that was the whole thing. Sure, he respected him. He respected his playstyle, his ability, his unique biological gifts, such as Kaiser Impact, but he didn't submit to him. But we have our main character, a character whose whole thing was realistically not submitting to anyone, realistically, at this point, fighting himself, fighting his own ego, and pushing it down because he knows he needs to understand Kaiser to even work. So that adds to this build-up even more. He literally says, I'll follow Kaiser from close behind and study his thought patterns from his viewpoint. And we see Kaiser just enter this, like, how to put it, pseudo-mechanical state. It was so weird, right? Because in the previous game, it was much more played off as an extension of Kaiser's already existing personality. Yeah, Kaiser's the king, Kaiser's on top, Kaiser's Timothy Herner. He literally calls the whole show an execution. If we're looking at it from that kind of perspective, Kaiser was really kind of just like hyping himself up, and he proved it. Don't get me wrong, he was definitely hyping himself up. But the difference between the goals made in chapter 162 and the goal made in 181 is that Kaiser is like ruthlessly efficient. Like, he's not, to be fair, he did directly insult Nagi, but legitimately, he's not insulting anybody. He's not doing anything extra fancy. He is just pure pseudo-mechanical efficiency to a level that realistically was not seen. Like, legitimately to the point where Isagi, who is now following Kaiser, is like, okay, bro is literally not even wasting a single movement. Everything is optimized. There's literally nothing here. There's nothing that he's doing that is not optimal. It really builds Kaiser up as this, like, not just a dude who is confident in his abilities because his abilities are kind of good in a way that someone like Ryo or Shigiri or Nagi would be, or really any of the Blue Lockers, to be fair. No, Kaiser is confident in his abilities to the point where he's willing to talk smack and call him executions because he literally executes everything perfectly. He has this ability to just be perfectly dominant. And then we get to the goal itself. The thing that makes this moment so amazing to me and what really made me appreciate Kaiser. When you see these characters that we know, there's no shadow of a doubt that we know who Chigiri and Ryo are. These two characters who have proven themselves to be pretty efficient defensively. Chigiri with his Mega Press and Ryo with his General Chameleon ability and his copied abilities from the defensive side of the U20. We know these people are extremely good at what they do on the defensive front, on the offensive front, and as players, and we have build-up with both of these characters, much more build-up relative to the people that Kaiser scored on, except for Bachira, but even then Bachira was barely defending because, he kind of got a palm to the chest. And what does Kaiser do when Chigiri makes the bold claim, but admittedly a claim that makes sense? Kaiser had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, not 7, 8, but he had 6 people in front of him. One, if you want to just take players, excluding the goalie, he had 5 people in front of him. Chigiri and Ryo, 2 well set up defensive characters within the narrative of Blue Lock, put in front of him. For all intents and purposes, put Baro in this situation, put Rin in this situation. Well, maybe not Rin. Rin's kind of different. But even Shido, put so many different high-level characters with different levels of abilities that we've seen throughout all of Blue Lock in this exact same scenario. And they would have faltered. They would have had to take a different path. And notably, by the time Kaiser takes his shot, it doesn't even look like, he's not even in the penalty box yet. Bro is literally just outside of it. He's literally not in even Shido's supreme domain. And the thing is, I believed it. I believe that this would maybe where Kaiser faltered. Top this off with Agi, a world-class player, being there. I was like, it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. And then we finally get the payoff to all this buildup. You are blind. And we get this beautiful moment. We get this beautiful wait where we see the ball that gets shot from him. One, I love the way that it's drawn. Nomura, chef's kiss of an artist. Like, legitimately, I don't know how he does it. Like, looking at this art, wow. But the art of him kicking the ball and the ball just dominating, piercing holes in all of the opposition of the defense, tearing into Agi's face, tearing into Shigiri's face, tearing into Ryo's head as the ball just travels. And then you get this beautiful 4-page goal. These are 4 double spread, well, really 5 double spreads back to back to back, where we see the ball from really like a POV perspective of the ball itself going through. Shigiri, a speedster, blown by. Ryo, a technician, blown by. Agi, a master, blown by. This poor final dude, like, I have no idea who he is, blown by. And the goalie just barely whiffing. That's beautiful execution. The Kaiser impact in its truest form, in its truest utility. It's not just like a fancy direct shot. No, it is a clean-cut scalpel that tears through all defenses when set up perfectly. Kaiser is a monster when set up perfectly. That's when I bought it. That's when I 100% believed it. Because I knew these characters. I knew where they came from. I knew how good they were. I understood that they had even gotten amps. These people had become crazy. They had scored a goal. Shigiri came on the clutch and showed that he was a demon, a monster, a beast. But even still, Kaiser, a man who, for all intents and purposes, had come in pre-packaged. Like, he just came in at a higher level. Like, hypothetically, if you play games, right? Especially RPGs, fun fact, shout outs to Fire Emblem Engage, you will consistently get characters who kind of just invalidate your previous characters because they just come in at a higher level, a better base class. This is just, it'd be like that when it be like that sometimes. And thusly, you either have to dedicate to your older characters or you have to go to the newer character. Kaiser is that newer character who kind of just power crept the whole series. Like, legitimately, bro came in and proved with this goal that he is a legitimate monster like we have never seen before. Hypothetically, you take the previous situation, the previous goal, and you put other characters in the exact same spot that Kaiser was, and they could do it. I believe Rin could do it. I believe Baro could do it. Heck, if you get fancy enough, considering Isagi was literally seeing himself in Kaiser, I think Isagi may have been able to do it, though that one's a bit harder. But you put any other character that we've seen in the position that Kaiser was in chapter 181, with 6 whole people in front of him, 6 full-grown men. Okay, admittedly, I'm not sure how old Shigiri is. Ryo's 17. I'm not sure how old Shigiri is. So, nearly full-grown men blocking his shot course to the point where they are literally stacked, like, perfectly. Like, they straight up, there is no shot course. Shigiri wasn't just, like, spitting nonsense. It's not like there was a massive gap in between. No, there was literally a tiny pinpoint spot, and Kaiser hit that to a degree that Rin, the man with arguably the highest shot precision in all of Blue Lock up until that point, couldn't hit because it was such a specific shot. But Kaiser did it. Kaiser went from a man claiming to be a king to a proven emperor in a matter of moments. And what makes this even better is the fact that we get this, and we get Isagi dedicating himself to the full understanding of what Kaiser is. He understands that, whoa, okay, first things first, bro is just him. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. The fact that Isagi just straight up tells himself in his own head, he's not speaking to anybody else. We're literally just watching Brody think. And he's like, okay, being completely honest, bro is just so physically and mentally beyond anything that I have currently seen. There is no way that I can do anything as near as impressive as Kaiser Impact. There may have been hope before, but watching that has killed any sort of ideology that I could copy that. It's just gone. It is out of my biochemical range. He was simply born better, which is correct. Like, to be fair, he doesn't go that deep, but that's what's implied here. He straight up admits that unlike pretty much every other weapon he's seen before, that admittedly wasn't also just purely physically locked, he's been able to, like, pretty much take it. Behind the back, off the ball movement, even the weapon that he ends up stealing from Kaiser, all of that is present. But even still, Isagi's like, I can't do anything about that. That's literally just a biological gift of his. It's crazy, it's snapped, it's insane. It's better than what Noel Noah can produce, and I'm not better than Noel Noah, so I can't do that. One, that's really, really cool. Two, we get to see one of the world masters really be like, whoa, hold on a second. This guy, Kaiser the Genius. So this is the ability of the world's new generation 11. We literally see Chris clasping his hands together and shaking. Bro is in shock. Bro is bamboozled by what Kaiser did. That's how crazy the Kaiser impact and Kaiser's play was. The fact that a world master, the second best striker in the world, mind you, is like, sweet mother of mercy, this guy, he's just different. He's just something else. I completely understand why he's part of the new Gen 11. And we get, once again, characters that we know of, not just characters of prestige, but characters that we know of, have names, have backstories, have histories. Chigiri, the speedster of Blue Lock. You know what he says so specifically? He said that kick was like a flash. This is the man who has been known for blitzing people. Like, it's just literally the only other character in Blue Lock specifically that was known for blitzing people was Zantetsu. And we have not gotten him in, I think, since we have not seen him play, ironically enough, since the Team V versus Team Z game over 100 chapters ago. So really, Chigiri was our main blitzing man. And even he's like, that was different. That kick was like a flat. It was just beyond my perception. It was beyond my expectations. It was crazy. We see Rayo, the man who prides himself on his ability to take the weapons of others, being like, this is Kaiser impact. This is something that he himself just immediately, even if subconsciously, admits that's beyond his perspectives. This man has copied a lot. Like, straight up stolen everything. Aiku's physicality, the abilities of Nagi, the abilities of pretty much the entire U20 team. Like, straight up, bro has stolen some high-grade stuff, added it to his kit. He really said, oh, you know, Kakashi of the Sharingan, call me Rayo of the Metagon, and taken all of it. He even stole Metavision later on in this very same match, but he could never steal the Kaiser impact because it was that unique. It's really, like, at least in my mind, the difference between Kaiser before this and Kaiser after this is that he was given his respect. He was given his due diligence. There was no moment where he was immediately overshadowed. We literally dedicate a whole chapter to Isagi straight up admitting that, okay, I cannot be like Kaiser in exact, but I can mimic the man who had become like a deity by stealing his eyes. Isagi, a mastermind, a monster, a beast, and a demon in his own right, fully admits that he cannot surpass Kaiser in the way that he initially wanted to, but he can at least take a piece of Kaiser and use it against him. And the thing is, we don't even get just one chapter of Isagi respecting Kaiser's ability as a player and trying to adapt one of his own skills. We even get further praise from it. We get full engagement of other characters acknowledging and respecting the power that Kaiser has. The mad footballer, Agi, is like, whoa, I feel it in my bones. And Nagi's like, yo, you Gucci dog? Like, what's really popping off there? And we see Agi say, this is like, the thing is, there's so much time dedicated to it that it really adds that extra weight that I think the initial one was lacking. Agi says, I was analyzing Kaiser's shot just now, and my goosebumps won't stop. How did he even see that shot course? And even if he did, he aimed it so perfectly. Oh, I want to know more. Like, legit. That was crazy. And the fact that he's having all these players, whether they be masters, whether they be high-level world-class players, whether they be characters that we know, love, and respect, and have seen prove themselves before, all of them, even our main character, must bow to the Lord's chosen emperor, Michael Kaiser. And I think that's what truly convinced me. That's what truly got me on board with him. Beforehand, I was admittedly kind of iffy on him. Like, I wish I had started my reactions earlier, because then I wouldn't just be telling you this. I could prove it to you by like saying, go look back at the videos. But ever since, I've become a huge Kaiser fan. Just because, like, now I see the hype. I feel the hype. I understand the hype. I am one with the hype, because the manga went out of its way to not just tell me that Kaiser was goated, not just imply it, not just give him one shot and then immediately introduce even more powerful characters. No, it gave me the shot. It gave me the build-up to the shot, and it gave me the after effects of the shot rippling throughout the entire field. and that's amazing. I love it. Kaiser's just different. He's legitimately now probably a top 5 character for me, and it's just off this one goal alone. And obviously he has a whole bunch of other stuff that I really like, and I'll talk about that in its own video. And I'll even admit, like, this goal retroactively improved my opinion on Kaiser. Like, I reread Blue Lock all the time. It's just such an easy read. I don't know why. It just literally, I've reread the series, I think 3 times, literally just by accidentally going back and just being like, oh, this was good. Oh, this is good. And this is good. So now that I've reread the first game a couple times, I can respect Kaiser even more. And I really like what he does for Isagi as a rival. But of course, that's another video for another time. However, what do you think about Kaiser? What do you think about this moment? Do you think this goal really solidified Kaiser as a beast in your mind? Or are you still just like, man, screw Kaiser. Me and all my homies hate Kaiser. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure that little notification also miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. It's as low as $1 month. Exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Godlike the Pencil, writing off.